No, I know. You go like.
In the shots of me, could you keep him in the shot in the part, okay? And then just hide him.
What's your name, sir?
John Tibbetts.
John Tibbetts. Okay.
No.
I think we're going fast enough for you,
just
May?
keep it as a medium shot, I guess.
Just chatting in between. Get
Too
it on
much
tape.
chatting in between?
Get it on tape.
Boy, what is this? What's happened to New York City, huh?
You're going to be here late, 8 o'clock tonight, and then we'll really be...
No, I won't.
Listen to
How much
them.
do you want to make a bet?
They know what they're they know what they're talking
It's happened
about.
before.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then
But you can be chatty with
I
me.
better listen to
Yeah,
them.
it's the rest of the people.
Yeah,
You can-
sure. Don't
seriously.
talk to them.
Okay.
Okay. 3,
John, right?
John, thank you, yeah.
2, 1,
Okay.
action.
Well, we live in a world where a Hank Williams and a Natalie Cole can reunite with family members through the magic of video and film. And Desi Arnaz Jr., this has got to be the stopper. What you have done in Mambo Kings is truly amazing. Tell me about your feelings in accepting to do this role and on the set and then seeing the final effect on screen. Indescribable?
Can I describe them?
Can you?
Could I?
Where do you start?
I can't, and I've tried, and I've been doing pretty well today. But I have, and I also try to do it differently each time I speak to someone about it, which is difficult too. But what it did was it took a lot of different aspects of my life and brought them all together. That was something that happened to me personally because of the nature of the story. It paralleled my life. Obviously, portraying my father had a lot to do with my own personal experience.
And had you been born yet at the time that particular episode was selected to use as the model of I Love Lucy?
Cuban Pals was the episode.
And it's a married couple,
I'm
isn't it, that comes
not
in?
sure, yes. They found that episode because they looked through a lot of them to try to match actually what was written in the book. It was just a coincidence that happened to match. And, but anyway, and then they did all sorts of coincidental things on the movie. The sequence of I Love Lucy was shot on the same sound stage by accident that they shot I Love Lucy on, and just
Wow.
very different things happened. But I can't really put it into one feeling because there were so many different feelings.
And
So-
we see you, we see your dad, we see your mom, and sometimes we lose track, and I guess that's the way it's supposed to be for the viewer. We get a little disoriented, wondering which is the reality after a while. That's good.
Well,
I
all
think.
you need to know is that it worked.
And yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
And
'cause
you
we-
speak in an accent.
Yeah.
Was it tough to relearn, or did you ever have an accent?
No, I never had an accent.
Yes.
And that was really the most important part to me, was to get his voice, the sound of his voice was one thing, and then the accent accompanied that. And then also the way he spoke Spanish was part of that too. So
Something that I wish had come through a little more was, what did your father mean to a generation of Cubans living in America? What kind of a model was he for them?
well, I think the impact of the I Love Lucy show, which the movie touches on, was very important to the people coming to this country. And the fellow who wrote the book, Oscar Huelos, the book, The Mambo Kings Play Songs of Love, that won the Pulitzer Prize, came to me and said how important that was to him, that was shown the impact of Dad and the I Love Lucy show, and that was really a very important part to him in his book, and that in his life growing up, and even the person who wrote the screenplay for the Mambo King, Cynthia, who's from Cuba, said that she used to watch the I Love Lucy show, and a lot of the people who I've met say that made them feel like a first-class citizen.
Right.
In other words, that they thought that the I Love Lucy show was the I Love Desi show, kind of, that it was more his show because they identified with him. And that gave them a sense of their new identity in America, and that Dad was as American as apple pie, even though that was one of the first things that had ever happened, was his, as far as a crossover into middle America from someone from another country.
And
that
even
he-
before the show, as a band leader and as a in
Yes,
his
he was
films,
very
he was
success-
already cutting away there. Wasn't
very
he?
successful as a performer and a nightclub entertainer.
So, on the whole, does this raise up a lot of ghosts, or does it help exorcise some to appear on the same screen with your dad like that and be your dad?
It was very, see how it's difficult? It was, no, it was very powerful. And I don't think that it did anything but help me to enjoy my relationship with my mother and father. And it wasn't something that was in any way difficult, in a sense that the final outcome was what you saw in the movie, and that was what we wanted for people to see, was that that time, that era, and the relationship that they had that was so special, and how he was able to do certain things in his life and help people. And
you said that it helped you feel a little closer to him.
yeah, it's.
Wow.
I've tried to explain this, that when you're, as a performer in general, when you're doing a role, you become very close to the role, whether you've ever known anything about the character or not. Well, if you're playing your father and you're portraying him, just as a performer, as an actor, you become very close to the role. It was very personal, but it was also something that I had to be objective about because it was so personal. But I had never done that before. I've played Marco Polo, but I've never played my father, and so I got to know Marco Polo real well too. Do you understand? Or whoever I was portraying. But this is in a sense, is a way to, if you really want to get to know somebody, even your father. You know, I said, like the old cliche, walk a mile in someone else's shoes. But that's really what it is like, without being a son, just taking on the cloak or the cape of someone else is very different.
Sometimes they say it's only a movie, but in the case of Mambo Kings, it's a good deal more, I think. Desi Arnaz Jr.
Thanks.
We're talking about Mambo Kings here in New York City. I'm John Tibbetts for KCTV5. I remember that episode.